Many men have nothing to smile about. Been broke down, too proud to cry it out. Walk a mile in my boots and you know what I'm about. I took some licks and I took some hits and I found out them bones can actually break sticks. But them words are powerful as shit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let the Paint Dry. Here we are, the last podcast of 2020, and what a year it was. We made it. We're here, and there's so many emotions. So many things have transpired. Real life, right? But as always, we'll get into that in just a second. We want to open and clear the space with a song of healing, a medicine song, and it's improv. So we see what's on the top. Ma-da-do-do, be-de-de, bo-do-do-do-do, be. Ah-da-da-da-da, da-da. The thing that I need is for you to see me. La da 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 da. La da. This is my medicine song. 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 My heart searches for divinity. Oh, this is my medicine song. Day, 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 boom, day, 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 boom, day, 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 boom, day, day, day. This is my medicine song. Let the paint dry. Welcome. Here we are, the last podcast of the year. We have made it through this far, through 20, just a couple more days, and the year's over with. And what a year. And I know that there's always a lot of emphasis put on the new year and a new birth. And I think there's part of it that I think is really good when I think about it, to give ourselves a break from all the emotional and spiritual and physical and mental work that we've been doing this year, as our culture and our world has shifted in the most dramatic way in 100 years. I think it's good to have a closure, a time of closure. It shouldn't just go on. It's too much for our systems, right? So I think it's good to have and celebrate however we want to celebrate it, a new year, ending of an old year, ending of a year that was brutal for many. And if you're still here, you're here. And we should celebrate that. We should celebrate, even if it seemed like it was a bunch of losses, we should still celebrate that you made it. So that's kind of what's on the surface. And also thinking about, I've been lately on my mind and my body and my heart, I've been thinking about authenticity, communication, trust, honesty, integrity. And the older I get, I've heard people say those things shouldn't be hard if you have integrity. But I find them to be challenging because we're human. I find, and I come from lineage that really valued integrity and honesty, but I still find it challenging to be completely honest and transparent because there has to be trust involved in that. There has to be trust involved that your heart will be held, that you'll be safe. And to me, I find that tricky in this world. Tricky to find a safe place. But I think it's important. It's important to come forward in life. And this may sound all vague, but this is just what's on my heart and mind and what I'm working through. I think it's important to come through with your full self, authentic and honest and humble. And those things are hard. It's hard to be vulnerable, but I think it's important and worth it. And I think it's a huge component as we move forward into the new year, into a new cycle. And I think we need a new cycle of days, a new season. And I think it's important to recognize that there was something that 2020 has been and is trying to tell us. We see things don't work. We see systems that are broken. We see like the unemployment system. I was talking with someone and they were talking about how that there were people that were older and they couldn't get on the computer. And so they had to physically go. In the middle of a pandemic, you had to physically go to the unemployment office. I didn't even think about that until the conversation I had on Sunday and how the system was so archaic and outdated. So we have a pandemic and then we realize what systems are so out of touch and so inadequate. So to me, let that be a guide. Let that be for all of us. Now, I'm personally not in a position of power to change the unemployment system. But I can consciously move forward in life, understanding that we as human beings, what we do matters, systems that we put in place matter, what we accept matters, because pandemics can happen. And we're put in a position where a system fails us. And we can go down the list of all the systems that failed us this year. But I really think it's up to us to decide, to use whatever power we do have to decide, because a culture only cultivates what it values. So whatever we value, we'll cultivate, we'll support. So I think we have to look at the things that we value that didn't support us back. All the unrest around Black bodies, and that hits, home because I'm Black every day. 24/7, 365. The statue that was torn, that was broken, violated, vandalized, disgraced in Oakland, Breonna Taylor. Someone put up an artist made a bust of her face to celebrate the Black Lives Movement and her life, and it was demolished, like hacked at, just broken. So what does that say? We realize hate's going to be in the world. But let's not ignore that, I think, is the petition that I'm offering. Let's not ignore that. We've had exhaustive conversations around race this year, around Black lives, around privilege, around the economic gap, around police brutality, around things that have been put in place since slavery. So this is an opportunity. What we have here is an opportunity in 2021 and 2020 and 2021, looking at 2020 and everything honestly, openly, with our hearts, coming in with our hearts and our bodies, and then looking at 2021 as an opportunity to start the process of accountability, reconciliation, healing, and then rebuilding a foundation for a new way of living. Now, it's going to be more challenging for those who weren't really affected by the pandemic or by the riots or whatever this year. It's going to, when you're good, it's much harder many times to have empathy, to work towards bettering things because you're good. It's human nature. So it takes a lot of maturity to be able to look outside of your box, my box, and see what needs to be done. When you're good, when you're comfortable. When you're not comfortable, it's easy. When everything has gone to shit, it's easy to get out on the street and be screaming because you don't have anything left. But as we've established this year, and we've said it so many times on this podcast, we're connected. We're not in this alone. We're not silos. And we don't get a chance there's no side door that we can run out and avoid the things that are in our culture. We're in a place where we have to address the things in our culture. I was talking to someone, and I honestly can't remember who I was speaking to. And I always say I was talking to someone the other day. And it was much more comfortable for me this year to be in my studio and not be on a podcast telling the things that I think. It was there was a part of me when it came time, when this opportunity came, that there was a part of me that had been planning to do a podcast somehow, some way. But there was a part of me that looked at the culture and looked at the hate in the world. And I was like, hell no, do I want to get out and talk about what's on my heart? Because frankly, frankly, there's people on Facebook that I've had to disconnect from because they're so racist and they've known me for 20 years. But me putting out my opinion, saying what it feels like to be black, disturbs their spirit and they come with some racist shit. And it triggers me. It was more comfortable for me to sit at home and paint paintings and be in my corner and just try and sell it and not give my opinion because I, as a black man, full disclosure, was worried that when I say my opinion, certain people won't buy art. Real talk. Because my opinion doesn't align with theirs and they'll hold their money. But it's too urgent. This shit is too urgent. That's real. This shit is too urgent and it's too big of an opportunity because we have technology. We are so advanced right now. We have so many tools, but I think we need to be mindful because with creating technology, with creating cell phones, the raw materials have to be sourced from somewhere. And there's consequences to that. But we don't get a chance. We don't have the luxury with where we are right now to bypass our own spiritual work that we need to do, our own financial work that we need to do, like looking at do our funds help things that are racist and support things that are racist and hurt people like me and other black citizens in the world? Do they? You don't have to answer to me, but it would be awesome if you just contemplated that. How do we make this world equitable for everybody? How do we create financial pathways for black people and women that they don't have to sacrifice, degrade themselves. Those are the things that are on my heart that I think about that are important to me. And I'm thinking about going into 2021 with and addressing and sitting with these hard questions, these hard realities. These hard truths of every day. And it's not, I have no desire to make people feel guilty or to put out a energy to make people feel guilty for success in their life. I've had a mountain of success and a mountain of valleys. Life is not easy for anybody. There's no peaches and cream perfect life. But there are some major problems that people need to be held accountable for when it comes to Black people like me. And being a Black person, I don't have the luxury to not think about it. I don't have the luxury to turn off the Black thing, the race thing. I can't turn it off. Every day I wake up. I live in a upper class neighborhood. It's almost worse. If I was in the hood, we're all there together. But and I've lived in both. But when you wake up in I'm the only Black person on my block. There's like 30 houses, I say. I could be way off on the amount of houses. When I wake up, it's awkward to come out my door and see nothing but white faces that are completely clueless to the real shit that Black people go through. The conversations with neighbors where their biggest thing is that they didn't get to go to Italy this year. And they got this bet running that they're going to get to go to Italy either in the summer or the spring. Come on now. That's their worries. That's their concerns. That's the thing they're like, oh, that's awkward as a Black person to have that conversation and them tell you straight to your face that's what their worries are, and that's, oh boy, they hope things get better. And you wake up Black. And the flip side is that I love being Black. Every day I love it. I love Blackness. I love being Black. I love being a Black man. I love it all. It's the most surreal place to be, most surreal skin to walk in. And then to go downtown and where I live in Olympia, and they got that city tagged all over with Black Lives Matter. It's awkward. I appreciate it, but it's awkward. Because when you look at the well of suffering of Blackness and you drop a pebble in that well, you don't hear it hit the water. And that's hard. That's a hard reality that our country is going to have to come to terms with. It's hard for Black people to talk about it. Many Black people don't want to talk about it because it's too painful. So this is me coming with integrity and coming with honesty and transparency for the record, because this is what I think about all the time. This is what matters. This is what hasn't mattered for the majority of our country's existence. It's the thoughts and the hearts and the spirit and the bodies and the social wellness of Black people. So it's not comfortable for me to say any of this, but it's not comfortable for me to walk around and not say it. And this has touched every part of my life. This has touched my marriage. I don't even talk about my wife. Most people don't know I'm married. This gets so hard to exist. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Pray on just a little while longer. Pray on just a little while longer. Pray on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Won't you fight on just a little while longer? Fight on just a little while longer. Fight on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Won't you teach on just a little while longer? Teach on just a little while longer. Teach on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Said everything will be all right. Sometimes you got to preach on just a little while longer. Preach on just a little while longer. Preach on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Won't you hold on just a little while longer? Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. I said everything will be all right. Oh, won't you march on just a little while longer? March on just a little while longer. March on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. So, thank you for the support and listening, and those that have supported this podcast this year, the sponsors. You've been incredible. This has been church for me. I had to create my own church, so to speak, and this little session has been church for me. And it's really just for me to, it's a personal thing for me to sort out what it means to let the paint dry, what it means to be a creative, what it means to be an artist, what it means to be a black man in 2020 in America. in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of being in the news, not me being in the news, but Black bodies being in the news and being abused over and over and over and over again on our cell phones and on social media. What does it mean? This has been a safe haven and a release and a sanctuary. So I am extremely grateful for it. Those of you that are able and willing and up for it, you can support me by buying my art, t-shirts, or being a sponsor for the podcast, Let the Paint Dry. I look forward to podcasts in the coming new year, 2020. We may have some guests. We'll see. People have expressed their desire to come on, and I would love to have them. Just basically getting the logistics together, and I look for a wonderful year. I accept whatever comes. We will walk in it. We will walk forward. So walk in love, do work that matters, and let the paint dry.